Hello everyone and welcome to IWM Duxford. Another flying day for us in store. Get rid of that. You can hear me loud and clear, I hope. You'll start screaming at me if you can't, no doubt. Hello, good to be back. It's been a few weeks since we've been at Duxford, or any show for that matter, and it's really nice to be out and about with a fun-filled flying display to look forward to. Lots of events going on this weekend. It means, well, we could have been anywhere, couldn't we? But trailer sat here at Duxford, and actually one of the reasons we've come up here is we need to drag the trailer off to Jersey this week as well. We've got a live show there on Thursday, heading off there on Tuesday, so yeah, it's made sense to come and grab the trailer. A couple of days prepping it for the Jersey Air Show, which takes place on Thursday. So if you're not subscribed, do subscribe here on YouTube and you'll be able to watch that stream on Thursday, and then much more to come beyond that as well. More on that via the email newsletter, which you know about. Head to planestv.com and you can sign up for that newsletter and get some news. So we've got some excellent flying displays to look forward to today, the theme being fighters. So kicking off at about 25 minutes past 1, so about 24 minutes from now, is the P40. About 25 past 1 we think, maybe a little bit later. Bit of a movable feast today, not vast numbers of flying displays, but some gaps in between, so I'll be providing some filler, and I've got some really good archive material to play for you to do that. So P40 kicking off, Hawk 75 then follows, and then we've got two Spitfires to look forward to later on, Mark 5 and Mark 14. That's all we've got today, so not vast numbers of flying displays, but an interesting array of aircraft to look forward to. And it's quite a flight line out there. We've got the Bouchon sat out there as well, a couple of chippies, Yak 52. There's plenty to be feasting our eyes on for the audience who are here at the flying day. Of course, free to IWM members, and there's a nice little crowd gathering, so they're going to enjoy a lovely show, no doubt. So one of the clips I wanted to kick off today's show, so I haven't said hello. If you're new around here, hello, my name's Ian. I run Planes TV, and we've been broadcasting air shows for a decade or so. Prior to that, producing programs for DVD, Blu-ray, and all of those are of course still available on planestv.com, but very many of them are also available on our on-demand service at watch.planestv.com, and it's a paid service but gives you access to our back catalogue of programmes, and it's a great way of supporting these free shows as well. So thank you to everyone who's signed up over the last 12 months, 18 months. Well, it's been running 3 years, so if you've been with us that long on the service, thank you very much indeed. It's keeping us ticking over. One of the programmes that's available on that service is the Duxford September show from 10 years ago, so pretty well 10 years ago to the day, and I saw some lovely pictures of the F-15 display from that show. So a solo USAF F-15 display, displaying in some pretty interesting conditions. So of course the aircraft based nearby at Lakenheath, and on one of the days caught some nice sun. On one of the days it was real damp, real low cloud, real gloomy, but that made for some really dramatic video and still photos of that display, with the cloud bursting around the aircraft and a low approach over the runway, low enough to kick up lots of spray. I thought we might kick off our flying display today, since the theme is fighters. I've dug out a fighter display from 10 years ago from the IWM Duxford September Air Show, as I say, available on our on-demand service. But here's the clip from that programme. It's from 10 years ago.
Major Mike Mader's displays in the USAF F-15E Strike Eagle were memorable, not least because of the bad weather on Sunday. The vapour produced by the jet was quite something to behold.
My name is Mike Mader, and I'm the display pilot for the F-15 demonstration team. Routine is fantastic. One of the advantages that we have putting on the display is we get to take the airplane, show off its capabilities very close to the ground and very close to a crowd. Not too close, because safety is important to us, but we get to bring it up close to where you can really see what's going on with the airplane. We'll fly it fast, almost the speed of sound. We'll put 9 Gs on the airplane in tight turns, going through the loops and the rolls. And then some of the other highlights is we get to show off simulated some of the combat capabilities. We'll take you through a simulated strafe pass, a simulated bomb pass, and then some what we would do to avoid threats, surface threats, while we're flying missions as well. So not only do you get to see just the aerobatic control capabilities of the airplane, but you also get to see some of the combat capabilities as well.
My pleasure to introduce Staff Sergeant Craig Wyman from the United States Air Force.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the United States Air Force and its Chief of Staff, General Norton A. Schwartz, we welcome you to the Duxford Air Show. Since September 2001, Air Combat Command of the United States Air Force have provided over 681,000 air missions in today's joint fight, supporting the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and our allies. It is my distinct pleasure to describe for you today a capabilities demonstration by one of America's premier air and ground superiority fighters, the F-15E Strike Eagle, an aircraft whose combat role is putting bombs on target on time. The air crew for today's demonstration is Major Mike Mader from Brooksville, Florida, and Captain Steve Bofferding from Plano, Texas. Together had a combined total of more than 3,600 hours in military aircraft, and both have flown multiple combat sorties in support of operations Iraq and Afghanistan. When flying in combat, speed is life. Now from the left, Major Mader and Captain Bofferding return to show center at 300 feet and nearly the speed of sound. This cable allows the Strike Eagle to fly undetected deep in enemy territory to deliver its ordnance. The thunderous noise of the F-15 alone can provide immediate support to joint and coalition forces on the ground. Back in 1975, the Eagle established a world time to climb record by soaring up beyond 12 miles in just 2 minutes and 3 seconds. This next maneuver will show you just what a high-speed climb looks and sounds like. Major Mader and Captain Bofferding will be inbound from the left at 300 feet and flying at less than 1/3 of the F-15E's top speed. This climb is made possible by 2 superb engines that power this amazing fighter. Major Mader and Captain Bofferding approach show center from the right. They will demonstrate the Strike Eagle's crisp handling characteristics by performing the exacting 4-point roll, then immediately transition into the challenging Cuban 8. In this maneuver, you can see the ability of the Strike Eagle to rapidly transition between low speed and high speed flight. Major Mader and Captain Bofferding are now approaching the field for their final maneuver, a tactical pitch-up before landing. They will fly by at 300 feet, then perform a rolling pitch-up and prepare to land. Major Mader and Captain Bofferding are now decelerating through 300 miles per hour and lowering the landing gears and flaps. They will hold at approximately 200 miles per hour on final and touch down at 180. This aircraft is one small part of an impressive Air Force inventory that has flown over 500,000 hours over the past year in Iraq and Afghanistan. F-15E Strike Eagle have played vital roles in the defense of the United States and its allies over the last 3 decades. They represent the United States Air Force's dedication to aim high, fly, fight, and win, ensuring our ability to meet any challenge under any conditions anywhere in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's demonstration. We hope you have enjoyed this brief display of only a fraction of the F-15E Strike Eagle's full combat capability. As an integral part of the United States Air Force, our F-15E Strike Eagles are ready to defend our skies and dominate the battle space anywhere in the globe. Ready to aim high, fly, fight, and win. On behalf of the United States Air Force and its Chief of Staff, General Norton A. Schwartz, we thank you for your attendance.
some really dramatic weather conditions there at Duxford 10 years ago for the September 2011 air show. It's almost 10 years ago to the day, so I thought a nice clip to watch, to reflect on past Duxford shows that we've enjoyed, sometimes in not such perfect conditions, although as you can see from the video it made for some nice dramatic video. We are looking forward to three flying displays today. We've got the P40, Hawk 75 and two Spitfires, Mark 5B and the Mark 14, all starting in about 15 minutes time. So we've got a little while longer available to us, and one of the aircraft that's still here at Duxford that I know lots of air shows are hoping to see in the very near future, potentially Jersey, I don't know, I haven't had any updates, but the Lancaster sat in the hangar here with the Aircraft Restoration Company, where it's been undergoing some TLC, and as far as I understand it, pretty well there and ready to rock, just waiting for the right conditions and crew availability and etc. At least that's what I've heard. So fingers crossed we'll see the Lancaster up in the air sometime soon, and of course at air displays potentially. It'd be nice to see maybe back here at Duxford. I don't know whether they're booked for the September show in 2 weeks. I'll shut up before I get myself into trouble and go back to the September show from 2011 again for a rare sight of the Lancaster on the ground here, and in the flying display with, of course, the Spitfire and Hurricane of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Let's take another look at this clip from 2011.
And here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the Lancaster,
Yes.
Hurricane and Spitfire of the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial Flight.
And as we watch the Lancaster, we remember, of course, the 33,000 airmen who lost their lives in the bombing campaigns of the Second World War.
Today's theme for the Flying Day is Meet the Fighters, and of course the aerodrome here at Duxford was home to fighters from 1917 during the First World War. The Royal Flying Corps was expanding, and Duxford was one of the many new airfields established to train the Royal Flying Corps aircrew. After the war ended, it was kept open, first as a training school, and then, from 1924, a fighter station, a role it was to carry out with distinction for 37 years. By 1938, the reputation of RAF Duxford's No. 19 Squadron was such that it became the first RAF squadron to re-equip with the new Supermarine Spitfire, and the first Spitfire was flown into RAF Duxford in August 1938. In June 1940,
From your right,
Belgium, Holland,
here comes
France
the
fell to
third
German forces,
in this collection
and
of
the conquest
iconic
of Britain
aircraft.
was Germany's next
Very
objective.
distinctive shape on the horizon
RAF
there,
Duxford was
the
placed in
Lancaster.
a high state of readiness, and on 15 September 1940, Battle of Britain Day, its squadrons twice took to the air to repulse the Luftwaffe attacks aimed at London. In April
The
1943,
forerunner of the Lancaster
RAF
was
Duxford
an aircraft called the
officially
Manchester,
designated Station
which had very
357
poor
by the Americans,
performance.
became the home of the 78th Fighter
And
Group.
then
Primary
somebody came
job
up
was
with the
to
idea
escort the vast fleet
of adding a
of
couple
US
of
8
extra
Air Force
engines.
bombers on their perilous and costly
The
daylight
result
raids
was the
against Germany.
4 Merlin engine
On D-Day, 6th
Lancaster bomber,
of
which
June
went on to
1944, the
tremendous
long-awaited
success.
beginning of the Allied invasion
A
that occupied
formidable
Europe,
flying machine.
every available 78 fighter group Thunderbolt
Probably
supported
the
the
superior
invasion
bomber
by
of the Second
attacking
World War.
targets behind the beachheads of Normandy. Following the end of the Second World War, and once again an RAF station, Duxford entered its last operational phase. Now equipped with jet fighters such as the Gloucester Meteor, Hawker Hunter, and Gloucester Javelin, its pilots stood ready to shoot down Soviet bombers should the Cold War turn hot. However, Duxford was nearing the end of its life in operation under the RAF, as the defence needs, which had...
And a sneak peek there of what was the next display item at the air show in September 2011, the Apache. Got the P40 running up at the moment. see him.
fighters. In July 1961, the last operational flight was made from RAF Duxford, bringing to an end the era of the fighters that we remember, with our 4 fighters selected.
And the Yak-52 just taking off in the background there, so we're gearing up. Certainly looking forward to this in about 8 minutes' time, getting the P-40 up in the air and displaying for us. Chucks away over there. We'll take the P-40 as he taxis out. Hawk 75 currently teasing us. That aircraft due to display for us at about 18 minutes to 2. So in the meantime, I might throw up one last clip since we've got the time, or shall I save it for later? So this is, let me just double check. Oh yes, so 6 minutes of that. So we started off with the F-15, a modern day fighter, but of course Duxford. Nice to see the satisfying shoulder drop of the engineers around the 75 as he starts up there. Looking forward to that aircraft's display in just a little while, so do stay tuned. The P-40 heading down the end of the runway to warm up, and I will come back to P-40 if once he's getting airborne. But I thought we'll have one more clip from the archive prior to kicking off the live flying here at Duxford, heading back again 10 years. This material all from our on-demand archive, available at watch.plainstv.com. So this from 2011 again, the September air show. It's a sky full of Spitfires, which we're very much looking forward to seeing again in a couple of weeks. With 14, I think, at the last count. Hope to be displaying at the September air show here at Duxford. Here we go, back to 2011, and you'll have to count the Spitfires and remind me how many there were.
as the Spitfires come in to land, let's just salute the pilots who took part in that tail chase, leading them in to land on the hard runway. Pete Kinsey in the Fighter Collections Spitfire 14. Next up,
And
Richard
from
Grace
the right we have
in
Curtis
his mother
P40S
Carolyn's
Warhawk
two-seat
taking
Spitfire
off.
9T.
It will return in about 5 minutes to open our display. Meanwhile, just starting to taxi out is the Curtis Warhawk 75.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the clips of the Spitfires there. Hawk 75 just having a little look. Not looking very promising there, is it? But fingers crossed. Adrian asking who's live. I'm currently live. Currently live on me. So P40 due in anytime, so plenty to look forward to, and the guys having a look at the Block 75 there, all got our fingers crossed. Looked like a brake issue, didn't it? We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed, ladies and gents. Send your positive vibes, please, from the internet via the chat. Join the chat. Do say hello over there. Lovely to see John Seymour in there, Ryan and Chris looking after the moderation as always. Thank you so much. Walk 75 still with engine running. Keep your fingers crossed. And John, and who did I spot earlier? I must say thank you. Simon Wilson there. Thank you all for joining, tuning in. And Gemma saying she's watching from down near the B17. So identify yourself, Gemma. Come and say hello. But lovely to see so many members. If you can see people with the little yellow or white icons next to their name, those guys are channel members supporting the channel here on YouTube. With a bit of hard cash, which is never a bad thing, is it? So Adrian's saying P40 is due in from the right any moment. We'll take his feed when he has it. Enjoy the show, everybody. I'll pop in now and then.
What a way to open the display. This fighter collection's Merlin-engined P40F is one of only 2 left airworthy anywhere in the world. It was manufactured at the Curtiss facility, Buffalo, New York, in the autumn of 1942, and was delivered by land to the Stockton in-transit depot in California for onward shipment that November, and was then shipped on to the 13th Air Force in the Southwest Pacific on Christmas Eve in 1942. After this aircraft's arrival in the Southwest Pacific in 1942, her service career remains a bit of a mystery. But the only P-40Fs to see combat in the Pacific Theatre were flown by the 44th and 68th Fighter Squadrons of the 347th Fighter Group in the Solomon Islands from November 1942 to October 1943. This Warhawk's wartime career ended when she was condemned by the United States Army Air Forces in November 1943 and dumped on the largest of the Vanuatu's islands, Espiritu Santo. She was eventually recovered from the island in the 1970s and acquired by the fighter collection some years later, being stored and restored in Australia. The restoration was completed in early 2011, at which point she took her first flight for 68 years in April of that year. Due to the lack of information on her service history, she flies in the scheme of Lee's Hope from the 85th Fighter Squadron 79 Fighter Group.
looking altogether promising over there by the Hawk 75, is it? But we live in hope, although tractor has now been attached. It'd be nice to think that that would be a tool to use to fix the aircraft and free up some brakes. I don't know, pure speculation. Cross your fingers. Looks like Adrian's picked up the P40 again.
And this will be the P40's last pass. And that was the Curtiss P40F Warhawk in the colour scheme of Lee's Hope, which was flown by Lieutenant Robert J. Duffield from Capodichino Airfield, southern Italy in 1944. Unfortunately, our next display item, the Hawk 75, has had to cancel, which is a shame because it's a very rare aircraft indeed and is based here at the Imperial War Museum Duxford, owned and operated by the Fighter Collection.
Yeah, a shame to hear that confirmation that Hawk 75 is out of action. See you being towed back to the Fighter Collection's hangar. P40 about to land, and it does mean we've probably got a little bit of a gap between P40 and the Spitfires. They might speed them along, or they might just allow that gap. I've got a bit of a noisy filler, shall we say, that I can use if we do have that little bit of a gap, and in fact I will. It's a day of fighters today. We started with the F-15, and I think I might have one more noisy aircraft for you from a recent live broadcast. I'll leave you to guess what that is as the P40 lands.
With the Warhawk safely back on the grass, we will have a pause now for a few minutes in the absence of the Hawk 75, and then our next display items will be the Spitfires Mark 5B and Mark 14.
glorious sight and sound there of the P40 shutting down, with a nice applause as well. A grateful audience here at Duxford for this flying day, and if you'd like to come to one of these, I think there's one more in October, is there? I think that's right. October 9th rings a bell, because I'm having another stag do that day, so I'm probably not going to be able to be here, although I will be vaguely close. So if you want to encourage me to come and try and do a live broadcast on what will be a entertaining weekend, do feel free to throw those requests into the chat. So a little bit of a gap here as we wait for the Spitfires due to fly at 2. As I say, maybe they'll move them forward, maybe they won't, and we'll come and have a look at them when we see a bit of life. But in the interim, I've got a little clip here bringing a bit of noise to Duxford today. We live in fantasy airshow land on these live streams, don't we? If you've been with me on these streams since I started doing this style early part of last year when COVID hit and things got weird, you'll know that we have a wide selection of aeroplanes available to us in our archive. And has the old man got this? Yeah. Might have a Spitfire starting in a sec. I'll take that if we get it. So I've selected, back to what I was rambling about, we like to select stuff from our archive because it's entertaining and it's fun. So I've dragged out a Typhoon display from a few weeks ago, or a month ago, from Old Buckingham, displaying in some really nice conditions, the light in the right place, which is always very important for video. So we'll have that to look forward to in just a few minutes' time. I'm going to press play on that. I think no great amount of life appearing out of Spitfire just yet. I don't cut, because I think there's going to be a engine start at any moment. So no noise just yet from the Mark 14, but we'll come to that, or you'll be able to see that in the lower left anyway. Let's take a look back to Old Buckingham a month ago. Bringing the noise there was the RAF Typhoon display, and wonderful show, wonderful conditions. Let's use that to fill our time whilst we wait for the Spitfires.
That everybody else wants. And here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, come on! Feel the noise! He has lit the torch on a pair of Eurojet EJ200 turbofans. They give 40,000 pounds of static thrust. That's about the equivalent . That's about the equivalent of 24 Spitfires. Other mathematical calculations are available. No physical linkage between any of the flying surfaces. It's all fly-by-wire, computer controlled. But without Sainty in the cockpit, it's just a lump of metal.
Duxford-based aircraft are not flying today, but you may not realise are actually supported by members of the public, are the
statistics for you. Rate of roll, phenomenal. Rate of climb, phenomenal. Gear down and barrel rolling. Now that's AOA, angle of attack. Can make the aeroplane fly at hideous angles that nothing else would do. Incredible controllability at slow speed. Look at that. He's coming back for a knife edge. Stand by. Outside turn. Wasn't that incredible?
Some really dramatic stuff from the Typhoon just a month ago at Old Buckingham for that live show, which was aired here on YouTube. Do make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more of those. Lovely to see so many of you joining the chat, hopefully enjoying the show. So I spotted some questions earlier on. Excuse me if it wasn't immediately obvious. The pause in flying has allowed me to eat a sandwich at a sensible time of the day, which is not a regular occurrence during these live broadcasts. I do shout if I've got anything in my teeth. Oh, that's a bit gross, sorry. Someone asking about the Lancaster. Yes, still on the ground here, but hoping to get out and about to shows in the very near future. My understanding is that all systems go, it's going to happen soon. That's my understanding. No one tells me anything though, so don't rely on it. But I'm clinging to the hope we might see the aircraft at Jersey. I've got no inside info to say that that's even a possibility, but fingers crossed. People talking about the Hawk 75 actually being a P36. This all, by the way, on the chat over on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not very up on my Hawk 75, etc. But it's nice to see you guys putting each other straight in the chat. It's kind of fun. Nice to bring like-minded folk together in the chat for a chat about airplanes. Why not? And Gareth saying, shame no live stream from Bournemouth. Yes, I was wondering whether they might be doing something. We've provided cameras for the live show there over the years. No contact this year, and yeah, it's a wonderful show. Great vantage point up on the cliffs. I toyed with the idea of going and doing something DIY like I did at Sidmouth a week or two ago. Just got too much on at the moment with Jersey next week, big show in Ostrava, Czech Republic, and here at Duxford the same weekend. There's quite a lot of extra paperwork to be doing for travelling to Europe these days, unfortunately, and some pressures around that to just make sure I've got covered. So been actually quite busy this week. Someone's saying, excuse me, not to me though, I can cover. Okay, who else was on the chat there? And best Typhoon display pilot, says John. It's a really wonderful routine, that, and we've seen it at the July Duxford show, that full live broadcast available on our on-demand service. We saw it at Old Buckingham there. Can't think if I filmed the display elsewhere. Oh, did go up to Coningsby earlier in the year to film it. Yeah, really punchy display. Very much looking forward to hopefully seeing it again this year. Out at Sanacol, isn't it? I'm not sure I'm getting. That's a bit sad. Who else was on the chat there? Oh, someone asking me to go to Headcorn. Well, a bit busy at the moment, but I'd love to one day. Has Adrian got the aeroplanes? Spitfire's taking off.
Getting airborne from the grass, the Mark 5, and also rolling the Mark 14.
Quick shout out to Fleur in the crowd, just saying hello. Nice to see you too, Fleur, and thanks for supporting. Just been rescuing child's toy over the fence as well. It's all go here. If not for the Hawk 75, then for everything else. Looking forward to seeing what the Spitfires come up with. We're expecting 2 formation passes and a series of solo elements from the 2 aeroplanes. Lovely to see a high mark Spitfire, honestly. There's nothing quite like a fully tooled up high horsepower Spitfire. And someone asked about the cloud base. It is a bit claggy, not visibility not great. Yeah, it's got to be 3,000 feet though. It's quite nudging that anyway. Ooh, again, don't take that as gospel. That's my Mark 1 eyeball rather than any other kind of information I might have. Hope you're enjoying the show. It's going to be a short one for us today. As I say, main objective today for us is picking up the trailer and dragging it off to Jersey for a Thursday broadcast this week. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, enjoying what we've done through the year, do make sure to subscribe. That allows you to join in the chat and fight about colour schemes on P36s, and also keeps you in the loop for future live broadcasts. We've got Jersey this week. We'll have 2 weeks later, we'll have via our on-demand service at watch.planestv.com, we'll have the September Battle of Britain Air Show here at Duxford. 14 Spitfires in the lineup for that one, I think, at the last count. Maybe more, maybe less by now. But that will be available to on-demand subscribers, so people paying us money on that service. And if you're not already a subscriber, do head over there and consider supporting. You also get access to our back catalogue, of course. 2 Spitfires forming up out to the north, and we'll have them in just a few minutes' time. What did I want to say? Not sure. Something from the chat. Can't remember. Lovely Griffin, says John. Yeah, quite right. And I toyed with the idea of letting you hear the aircraft taxiing out. I probably should have done, but we'll certainly be making sure to stick around to see the aircraft taxi in. And it's a wonderful sound, isn't it? Got a couple of nice stereo mics set up out there, so hopefully if you've got us plugged into the TV, you can get hopefully the full effect of what we're enjoying here at Duxford today. Tempest not flying yet. Tempest? No. Typhoon. Will you be streaming from European? Good question, John. Potentially. The hope had been for us to do a full English language live broadcast presented, etc., of the NATO Day show, which is just a mega show, 10-hour flying and tanks and troops and stuff on the ground, airfield attacks, pyros, lots of fast jet displays. It's a really excellent show. If you ever get the chance to head out to Rossiter, I recommend you do. We're not doing that, but I will have some possibility of doing a live stream from there. Meantime, Spitfires.
There's a fighter station. First, we have the Historic Aircraft Collection's Mark 5B, which is a combat veteran, one of 1,000 built at Castle Bromwich in the West Midlands, being first delivered to number 37 Maintenance Unit in February 1942. It was assigned to 315 Polish Squadron in May 42 and then to 317 Polish Squadron in September 42, both at Woodvale. The aircraft was badly damaged in 1943, but was repaired and subsequently transferred between several maintenance units before being retired in October 1945 and transferring to St Athan as an instructional airframe. It then spent periods as a gate guardian from 1950 until 1989, though in the late 1960s it was taken to Pinewood Studios, where it was used as the master for the moulds that were made to cast the fiberglass replica Spitfires used in the film Battle of Britain. It ended its long stint as a gate guardian at Church Fenton in 1989 and was sold to Historic Aircraft Collection in 1993, with Historic Flying undertaking the restoration to flying condition, then in the colour scheme of 317 Polish Squadron. As a further tribute to the memory of the Polish pilots, the aircraft now flies in a colour scheme commemorating Wing Commander Piotr Laguna, who came to Britain to join the RAF Volunteer Reserve initially, before the formation of the Polish Air Force in exile. He was sadly killed in June 1941 when his Spitfire was shot down over France. And there is a nice link between the aircraft's early service with the Polish squadrons and its later history in the ownership of the Historic Aircraft Collection, as over the years, the Historic Aircraft Collection team have been able to contact some of the Polish veterans who flew the aircraft with 315 and 317 Polish squadrons and reunite some of them with the Spitfire. And running in now from the right, the Mark 14. visible by sight with the clipped wings and sound, the Griffon engine. This aircraft was built at the end of 1944 at Keble and stored by the RAF until 1945. From storage, the aircraft was sent from number 33 maintenance unit at RAF Lynham to India, where details of whatever service she saw have been lost in the mists of time and the Royal Indian Air Force record system. The aircraft was recovered from India to Blackbush, England, by Doug Arnold in the early 70s and formed part of his Warbirds of Great Britain collection. The fighter collection engineers took over the restoration when the aircraft changed hands and were able to complete the work in August of 1992. At that time, in 1992, this was the first example of an aircraft of its mark to be flying in Europe, and at that time was painted in the all-silver colours of the post-war RAF. In 2000, the aircraft was repainted in the colours of the Royal Air Force pilot and World War II flying ace, Johnny Johnson, as a surprise for his attendance at Flying Legends, and as a tribute to his last war service Spitfire. Johnson flew 700 operational sorties during the course of World War II.
It's a bit good, this, isn't it? Quite a roll rate. Lovely display. A little bit murky, isn't it? The cloud maybe not quite as high as I was estimating there. Adrian and I just lost the aeroplane as he's gone round the back. Here he is again.
This may possibly be the last pass.
So the Mark V has not returned unless he's properly snuck in, presumably heading off to one of the very many other displays going on this weekend. And if you're out and about at one of those this weekend, I really hope you have a great show. I hope it clears up a little bit compared to what we are, I wouldn't say coping with, but you know, it's a little grey here. Nice to see a bit of blue, wouldn't it? It is warming up this week. I've got my fingers crossed for Jersey, as I say, live broadcasting that on Thursday. Yeah, Mark 14 wheels down behind us here. We don't have line of sight that way for the cameras, so bear with me for a moment, but we will bring you the aircraft landing in and taxiing in. Sadly, without the Hawk 75, that's actually a lot for the day, but do subscribe to the channel if you're not already, so that you can join us for Jersey on Thursday. Chris asking what time that will be. I'm going for 2 o'clock is what I've got it lined up for. It's going to be around about there. We'll start around about 2. Oh, one more pass, why not?
Giving us the chance for another look at that combat veteran Mark V.
What is it they say about presumptions? Maybe not. It's a family show. The Mark V rejoining, and we'll bring you both aeroplanes landing and taxiing in just a little while. Looks like the Mark 14 touching down. Come on, Dad. There he is.
Mark 14, landing on the runway there, is owned by Anglia Aircraft Restoration and operated by Air Leasing.
And a big thanks to the old man Adrian up on the top there, providing you the telephoto shots for today. One more thing I've got coming up. Chris clocked this earlier. Ooh, Hawk 75 being dragged out onto the flight line again. So there's more than one more thing coming up, hopefully. That's looking a bit promising. Yeah, well done, gents. Okay, well, stick around. Don't go anywhere. I might get a nice Hawk 75 and... I was going to say it's brightening up, but it really isn't. Yeah, big thanks to the old man up on the roof there. Where is he? It's always nice to throw a little shot. He enjoys the ego trip. Oh, hold on, he's busy.
And with the Spitfire Mark 5B safely down on the grass, that concludes our display for today, although I can see the Hawk 75 is back out on the airfield. Thank you to the owners, the operators and the pilots and all the ground crew for their work in providing their aircraft and displaying for us today. Our next air show is on the 18th and 19th of September, the Battle of Britain Air Show, and we have another flying day like this on the 9th of October.
Yes, I'll echo those thoughts. Excuse the double headphone look. I must get around to feeding my audio in a better way. Echo those thoughts about thanks guys for bringing the airplanes out to display for us. And I don't know, I'm optimistic. You don't go plonk a airplane out on the flight line like that unless you think something's going to happen, do you? Those wonderful shots of the airplanes landing brought to you by Adrian Campbell. There he is. That's his little jail I built for him this year. Splendid stuff. I promised you the sights and sounds of those aircraft taxiing in, and hopefully delivering a nice round of applause again. Everyone very grateful here for the displays that we're getting. As I say, the Hawk 75 has been dragged out, and there's a gentleman with a headset stood by it, so we cross our fingers. If Adrian can pan over. Pops, do you want to just line up on the Hawk 75, because things might be looking promising up there, I think. So I'll leave you with the sights and I won't say sounds because there's no sound, but I'll leave you with that for a little while. I'm going to go and dig out another clip from the 2011 air show. Chris, Misdemeanor, I know is a big favourite of yours, and I spotted that go through as well. And the conditions were pretty interesting, shall we say, for that display as well. I remember some really nice light and some interesting conditions. So I'll leave you with the sights of the Hawk 75, hopefully getting you as excited as I'm trying to be at the moment about the potential of seeing that aeroplane. Maybe they might be just checking out whatever repairs they've tried. So no, I can't be sure, but hoping we might get the aeroplane up. Let's see. But I'll go and dig out that Hunter display. And there was one other thing as well. I'll see what else I can find. But I'll be back with you in just a little while. So thanks for sticking with us. I'm not sure about Hawk 75. Rapids are getting a little bit excited about the idea of going for some pleasure flights. So we live in hope, but in the interim, since this is a fighter themed air show, I do have another little clip from the archive for you, and this one from 2011 again, you guessed it, the September air show. A bit of a damp day there, but made for some pretty interesting conditions for some of the flying displays, not least this one. This is Misdemeanor, an aircraft much missed from the UK air display scene, and a favourite of Chris, who moderates the chat. This is a big thank you to you, Chris, for your continued support, and same goes for all of you members on YouTube. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, you can become a member of the channel. Contributes a little bit of money monthly to the channel to encourage me to do more of these, because they're costly things. No one's paying us to be here. It's trying to keep things ticking over, really, keep a bit of interest in the. Oh, just a plug on the PA for Classic Wings. So everyone's looks like they're called it a day on the flying display today, but maybe we'll see a bit of life from the Hawk 75 in a little while, which we'll bring you, but in the interim, let's have a look back again 10 years to this misdemeanor display from the September air show.
Representing a type that flew from RAF Duxford until its closure 50 years ago as a fighter station, Jonathan Whaley provided a typically spectacular display of his Hunter Misdemeanor.
Today there will be a talk about the famous Lancaster bomber.
A colour scheme designed by Jonathan himself.
Ask about tickets at
It is of course not an authentic colour scheme, but it certainly suits the lines of this extremely elegant aircraft very well. Jonathan Whaley, of course, as usual, will be going straight into his display routine with, if he follows his traditional form, a pretty spectacular turn straight after takeoff. On a day of anniversaries, it's worth mentioning that this year sees the 60th anniversary of the maiden flight of the Hawker P1067. That was the prototype of the aircraft that became the Hunter. The great test pilot Neville Duke took the aircraft into the air on the 20th of July 1951 at Boscombe Down in Wiltshire. Today we view the Hunter as a great flying legend, but at the outset of its career with the Royal Air Force, which began when the first Hunter F1s were delivered to the Central Fighter Establishment and Number 43 Squadron in July 1954, it wasn't quite like that. Those early aircraft were almost useless as fighters. They couldn't fire their guns at altitude because of engine surge, and they were very short-ranged. But the type was soon well developed. Great prestige was notched up for Britain when Neville Duke captured the outright world speed record in the first Hunter prototype, converted to unique Hunter F3 form on the 7th of September 1953. He raised the bar to 727.63 miles an hour. That, of course, was before the Hunter's entry into service. In the mid to late 1950s, Hunters were the mainstay of the RAF's Fighter Command Day Fighter Force in the UK. With the advent first of the improved Hunter F4 and then the F6, the Day Fighter Ground Attack Force in Germany re-equipped as well. And it may very well be that on this run he has the canopy back.
And much missed display, but I hope you enjoyed that one, Chris. Hawk 75, as you can see, has started up, presumably, going to test out whatever fixes have just occurred. So we'll stick with that for a little while, and hopefully you'll stick around with us a little longer here at Duxford as we enjoy the goings on. Well, he's taxiing the right way. We can hope, can't we? I'm going to chance my arm and say I think we're probably going to get a Hawk 75 airborne if nothing else. And we can... What's that I can hear? Don't know, but some of the pleasure flight aircraft that are very busy here at a flying day, also very active around the airfield now, so I don't know whether we're going to get a display from the Hawk, but Adrian, once he's got a view again, will be our best bet for finding out. There we go. Stick around, folks, you never know what we're going to get. It's always a nice place to spend time, actually, Duxford. Busy airfield. I know over the weekends lots of people are here for pleasure flights and things. So there'll be something to show you for a little while longer yet this afternoon. A lovely way to travel, isn't it? Thank you for your comment, Porridge Gun. A suitable username if ever I've seen one for your comment. I'll leave that one to your interpretation, folks. Chris, thank you. It's lovely to hear that was enjoyed and brought back some nice memories. It's lovely to hear. James, who joined late, lovely to... Oh, James, I thought you were watching from the beginning, but you're talking about Misdemeanor, I think. Does anyone know if it's still painted like that? Yeah, does anyone know if Misdemeanor is still painted in that wonderful paint scheme? This is the wonderful thing about these. I very often don't know the answer, but there's usually someone in the chance that does. In the chat. So maybe we'll get that answer. Hawk 75 still down the end of the runway. Rapide about to line up for pleasure flight, I believe. Oh no, Hawk 75 lining up on the grass. Maybe not. I'll let you be the judge of what's going to happen next. Looks like Rapide about to go off, which we'll take in just a moment. Oh gosh, what was the comment I saw? Oh, Ryan saying he's got a Harvard over the house. That sounds lovely. I've been in the Antarctic Survey aircraft's been down in my neck of the woods. Oh, thank you, Andy, for becoming a supporter on YouTube. If you'd like to join Andy and become a PTV supporter on YouTube, you can hit the join button. It just gives a little bit of a contribution to the channel and encourages me to come out and do more of this. Thank you so much, Andy Butcher. Welcome. And James, I was saying, oh yes, he was watching from the beginning. Just a shout out. Thank you, James. There's the Lancashire with the 2 Spitfire planes. Okay, so what are we looking at? I should show you what I'm looking at, shouldn't I? The Hawk waiting for Rapide and Tiger Moth to go off. Thank you, Sechi97. As I say, there's always someone who has the answer for us in the chat, saying that the Misdemeanor Hunter is now in a grey dazzle scheme. That sounds pretty. I'm going to have to Google that in a bit. Rapide heading off. Looked like a good full cabin there, about to enjoy the sights and sounds over Cambridge. I don't know where they head. Maybe have to blag a flight one day. Tiger Moth going off as well in the background. Yeah, a reminder that if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, and I mean presumably very many of you are very familiar with Duxford, and of course we have the big air show in 2 weeks' time, 18th and 19th of September. Tickets available. I'm not here to speak for IWM, but I'm sure they'd be grateful if you booked your tickets now. It's all advanced tickets now, so do make sure to get those booked. It's going to be an excellent show. Lots and lots of Spitfires planned. So as you can see, I'm not alone in my optimism of hoping I'll get to see something from the Hawk 75. The audience, pretty well, everybody stuck around hoping to see the aircraft take to the skies. What's Adrian got? He's focused his attention over on Hawk 75. Not the sight anyone wanted to see.
Steerable now.
So it doesn't look like we're going to get the Hawk 75 in the air, but presumably that little taxi up and down the airfield either told them what they wanted to know about the aircraft being in a fit state again, or yeah, more work to be done perhaps. as well. But what's I'm saying? I can't hear the commentary. Hopefully you can. I've got one more clip for all of you that have stuck around for so long. I've got this September Duxford 2011 air show file on the machine, so I've just been having another little look since we missed out on one of the flying displays today. I'm dipping back into that archive. Fighter themed show. We haven't had a Hurricane. We've had a Bouchon sat out there but not displaying. I thought we'd get two of those aircraft up. Oh, now that I've said Bouchon, gosh, someone can correct me. No, it must be a Bouchon. I'm doubting myself again. Now it's 10 years ago. We'll find out in a moment exactly the identity of these two aeroplanes taken to the sky. This is another one where we had a camera down the end of the runway here at Duxford, the grass runway that is, down sort of near the tank bank, a little bit further out, providing some really excellent telephoto shots of aircraft taking off. It predates us doing any live mixing here at Duxford, where really you need everything fairly close so you can plug a cable in, make your life easy so you're not either spending money on wireless links or relying on intermittent wireless links. So we don't often send a camera down there, so it's quite nice looking back to again the September air show for this sequence of the 109 and Hurricane.
Dogfights of the early part of the Second World War, John Romain in Historic Flying's Hispano Bouchon engaged in a tail chase with Dave Harvey in the Historic Aircraft Collection's Hurricane.
Fabulous stuff. Hopefully everyone enjoying those looks back to the September Air Show in 2011, all part of our on-demand service over at watch.planes.tv.com. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today and you'd like to support Planes TV and what we do and encourage me to come out and do more of these, do consider going and subscribing on watch.planes.tv.com. It will give you access to the Air Show live broadcast here at Duxford in 2 weeks. Of course, come along, but if you can't and you're like one of the very many people in the chat, I see Canada checking in, America checking in, previous visit, someone in Sofia, you'll have to tell me where that is. Geography not a strong point. If you're one of those people who are further afield and can't come to the show, check out watch.planes.tv.com. Gives you access to our back catalogue of programmes, and I'll be bringing more and more of those from the archive in the 90s, some really interesting airshow action. I'll be bringing more and more of that to the service throughout the winter. I'm quite looking forward to digging through the tapes and doing that. We do have more though coming on that service in the form of the live this airshow season from Duxford in 2 weeks time. We'll have the live broadcast of that airshow with 14 Spitfires and very many other excellent displays. That's all available on watch.planes.tv.com, as well as our back catalogue of programmes. Sorry for shelling that service, but the subscribers of that service who get access to all that stuff, I also consider you supporters of what we do at Planes TV, and if you'd like to consider doing that, that would help hugely. Again, watch.planes.tv.com. Well, people are, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've just got going. But as I say, the sort of priority for us was coming up and dragging our outside broadcast trailer away from Duxford, where it's spent a big part of the summer, taking that out to Jersey for a live broadcast there on Thursday. Make sure you're subscribed to YouTube, subscribe to Planes TV on YouTube, so you don't miss that on Thursday afternoon if you've nothing better to do. It's an interesting time for a broadcast, actually. I hadn't really considered that a weekday, but hopefully some of you will find some time and sneak a watch on the mobile at work. Don't blame me if boss finds out. That's it from us today. There's no doubt lots more flying going to be going on here at Duxford, but we do need to get packed up, drag the trailer down to Devon, and get ready for Jersey next week. So thank you for joining. Thank you to Andy especially for becoming for joining on YouTube. That's one of the very good ways of supporting us. As I say, the very best way. Subscribe over on watch.planes.tv.com. Subscribe on YouTube if you'd like updates. There's a few questions there. I'll run through a few chat questions because I do enjoy doing this. If you'd like updates, best way of keeping in touch is via the email newsletter. There's a link in the description, or you can head to planes.tv.com and fill in the form at the bottom of the page. That's emails from me. I send them out weekly. Sent one out this morning, sat here at Duxford thinking, oh gosh, haven't sent an email newsletter out, just to update you on streams that are taking place. That's a really good way of having a two-way conversation as well. And forgive me for all those people who've replied over the last couple of weeks. Lots of you have, and it's been a bit difficult sort of digging into who to reply to. So I say it's a good way of starting a two-way communication. I'll catch up on those at some point, and it will continue to be so. But yeah, you can reply to those emails that come straight to my inbox, and it's a nice way of keeping in touch, and I get some heads up on various things that are happening via that route, so it's quite nice. Isn't the Bouchon a re-engineered BF109 G10 with a Merlin or Hispano engine? Yes, I think that summarises it quite well. Sort of Spanish built. I don't know about re-engined. I think they were. Well, I'm going to get myself into trouble here. I don't think they were necessarily re-engined. I think they were fitted with it from the outset. Someone else. And I can see lots of people correcting you already. I'm not correcting. Forgive me. John saying thank you. You're welcome. Chris saying thanks as well. She's saying thank you to all you guys for being well behaved. Andy saying great show. Thank you, Andy, and thank you for signing up on YouTube. And Sally B asking about how often you're in Bulgaria. Thank you, Peter. Terrible. A country I haven't visited. I've got close, but not quite. I'm from the ghetto of Croydon, says Porridge Gun. Okay. Hello, Croydon. Nice to have you with us. And Connor saying great job streaming. Jersey next Thursday. Can't wait for it. Well, yeah, as I say, I hope it fits in well with everyone's schedules watching from home or work or wherever else you may find yourselves. Man, landing on those narrow undercarriages. Yeah, the 109 in Spitfire, honestly. It's, hats off to the guys. The Hawk looking a little more pronounced on the ground out there, but yeah, very narrow track on Spitfire. Spitfire on 109 says cats and music and more cats. That's a great use of those today. Lovely to have you with us. Cats and music and more cats. Navy Boy Cheese says, is the Hawk going to be airworthy again? I mean, almost certainly. You know, the fighter collection have got far worse looking aircraft airworthy than that aeroplane that's just taxied in. So yes, I'm sure. Probably not today by the looks. I had hoped, but it doesn't look like we're going to get the Hawk up. Certainly no activity by the aeroplane anymore, I'm afraid. So I will call it a day in a minute, I promise. I'll let you go. Paul saying enjoyable episode. And 70 is still at Duxford. I don't know what that refers to. Probably Lancaster, which, yeah, no sign, still in the hangar. I know the guys are hoping to get out and about sometime soon. All right, I think we better leave that up. Oh, John Seymour saying you must get a copy of the Buccaneer Aviation Group. I forget the name of the guys who have aircraft at Kemble now, Cotswold Airport. A couple of Buccaneers down there, and they've released a new book. Thank you, John. One of the emails I spotted and haven't had time to reply to. I'll check that out. And Gemma saying, look at the fence. Oh, that's Gemma there. Hello. Give a big shout out to Gemma. Thank you for tuning in. Nice to see you again. I hope people enjoy these shout outs when they get home. Nice to see Fleur earlier, who came over and said she enjoyed what we did. Lost the chat. I think there were kits of parts supplied by Messerschmitt without power plants, says Porridge Gun. When so that would be the Bouchons. Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. I'm not digging myself into that hole anymore. We haven't got Ben Donnell here with the informative commentary. As you will have understood, I'm much more comfortable on camera putting in the general direction of airplanes. Although I have a tense interest in airplanes, I'm not the encyclopedia that Ben is. Ryan, lovely to have you with us. Have a safe journey to Jersey. Thank you. 10 hours on a ferry on Tuesday. It's going to be... I'll try and get some work done. I'll maybe write the email newsletter. And Oliver saying he's looking forward to seeing it. Great to see you out and about. Thanks for the show, says Mark. Yeah, it's good to be out and about, and it's wonderful to see so many people out and about at the show here. And if you're watching from one of the other air shows that are taking place this weekend, I hope you have a great show. Bournemouth taking place in Cosby as well. I think the last, sadly. Hopefully there's a good crowd of people there encouraging them to keep it up and do it again. I'm not sure what the reason was. Silver saying I haven't been in the chat today, but enjoyed watching the show full screen. Thanks for the entertainment. Lovely way to watch, Silver. And that's certainly the way I'd go for, get it up on the TV. We do make an effort to record really nice stereo sound, so nice to pump it through a decent sound system. But you can always join the chat on your mobile as well. That's the way I like to go, if I can do. I don't know, it's kind of fun, the chat, isn't it? It's nice chatting aeroplanes with people. Callan asking which warplane is your favourite? Soft spot for many, Callan, but growing up very close to what was just about when I was born, RAF Bimbrook. Yeah, no, it still was, because we had the Lightning show in the late 80s, so I don't remember those days, but I've certainly got pictures of me sat on the fence at Bimbrook watching Lightnings do their thing, English Electric that is. Certainly still got a soft spot for that aircraft. If by warplane you meant warbird, sort of more World War II-y, I'll have to come back to you on that one in a minute. Ooh, do you know something like I don't know, I'll think of something in a minute. Something twin-engined, Mosquito or something. P-38. Corsair. Yeah, we were hoping to have the Corsair today, you just reminded me. No cigar today, I'm afraid. Matthew's saying his R, Hurricane P51, a Spitfire, Hellcat and BF109. Half an Air Force there Matthew, that's not your favourite. Demon Slaying Boy says 109, LA5, oh, Lavochkin. Now you're talking. Did the LA9 make it into tail end of World War II? I used to fly that on a flight sim. A lot of power there. Ooh, Beaufighter, Navy Boy Cheese. Yeah, that's up there too. Thanks for the show. Maybe one day I will come back to the UK and see another air show in person again. Peter, you stick to the sofa in Bulgaria. It sounds like a lovely place to me. Right, we're going to get knocked down here, pack away. Thank you all so much for joining. I'll chat to you again on Thursday during the Jersey show, and hopefully, as I say, we'll do a bit more over the Austria weekend. So the weekend of 18th, 19th of September, we of course have the live broadcast here from Duxford. Join watch.planestv.com. Join the subscription service there, and you can watch live from wherever you are in the world. We may do the odd free-to-view live stream from NATO Days over that weekend as well, if I get around to it. But our focus is producing some good quality video content for the organisers of that event. 2 of us going out there, but I will have a laptop and it can live broadcast, so maybe we could do a 1-camera stream. I'm always up for a challenge, as you know. Right, I will say goodbye. Thank you all so much for joining. Lovely to see some of you here in person. Another wave to Gemma. Fleur's gone home, and lovely to see Liz earlier today as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.